I've had it with being broke, and I've had it with lying. I've had it with being embarrassed over not having any money in my pocket. I promised myself that day that this would never happen again. I picked a day and an amount, and I said, I'll never carry less. It was one of those reasons that still affects my life after all these years. So I now carry a few $100s in my money clip. I do that for two reasons, I guess. One reason is the way it makes me feel. That special feeling of having plenty. Mr. Shove said to me, the first $500 you earn, put into your pocket, not in the bank. It feels much better in your pocket than it does in the bank. I've found that's true. But I also carry plenty in case I bump into another Girl Scout who's selling cookies. I'm ready. I remember walking out of the bank one day in Northern California where I lived at the time, and there were two little girls selling candy right outside the bank for some girls' organization. The first little girl walked up to me and said, Mister, would you like to buy some candy? I said, I probably would. What kind is it? She said, it's almond roca. I said, that's my favorite. She said, wonderful. I asked, how much is it? She said, it's only $2. I thought, it couldn't be. Still $2 after all these years? I couldn't help remembering the Girl Scout and the cookies. I said, how many boxes of that candy have you got? She said, I've got 5. And the other little girl standing there, she was selling candy too. I asked, how many boxes do you have? She said, I've got 4. I said, that's 9. I'll take them all. They said, really? I said, yes. I've got some friends, so I'll pass some around. They got so excited, put all this candy together. I reached into my pocket and gave them $18. Now, when I've got the candy and they've got the money, that first little girl looks up and says, Mister, you are really something. How about that? Can you imagine only spending $18 and having someone look at you in the face and say, you are really something? Now you know why I carry heavy. I'm not going to miss those chances anymore. It was a small goal, just a few $100s, but it had a big effect on my life. I have a dear friend, Robert Depew. Bobby used to be a school teacher in Lindsay, California, the olive capital. After he taught school for several years, he became a little weary of teaching and decided to get into sales. One day, without telling anyone, he quit his teaching job and jumped into sales. When he did, his brother poked fun at him. His brother said, you're going to go right down the drain. You had a good teaching job. Now you're going to lose everything you have. You must be out of your mind. He put him down something fierce. Bobby said, the way my brother acted made me so angry, I decided to get rich.
I believe in bliss of satisfaction. Have you ever bitten into like a great steak and went, oh my gosh, it's delicious? You ever had that happen, yes or no? Did it make you not want the next bite more? Or did you want it more? See, there's a part of your brain, there's serotonin in your brain. The more you celebrate your wins, you celebrate when you're here, you have fun along the way, it begins to train your brain, you want to go to the next level. But if you cheat yourself from the celebration, you cheat yourself from the joy, it's always just a grind. Eventually there's this thing called frying and burnout where your brain doesn't want to do it anymore because it's not pleasurable. It gets no dopamine hit, no serotonin hit, and it wants to stop. You have to be blissfully dissatisfied. I talk about this in one of my audios and my book. My wife's a great example of this. We're complete opposites. I'm running out of time. I'm a super aggressive achiever. My wife, I call my wife, she's easy happy, easy satisfied. If we were living in a log cabin in the middle of nowhere, but we could cuddle up all day long and kissy kissy, she'd be happy all day long. She wears jeans and t-shirts. She could care less about material things. She could not tell you within many decimal points how much money we have. I'm not even sure she knows, other than Bank of America, where any of the money is. Could care less about it. She just loves people, loves life. She's the daughter of a pastor. Her brother's a pastor. She's just a happy person. And she's married to a complete psychopath. But my wife, we've been together for a long time. She's developed some, I love my wife, but I don't like her all the time. The longer, any of you that have been in a long-term marriage here, they start doing some crap, man, that just drives you crazy. Anybody relate to that, yes or no? My wife has developed this very bizarre habit. I'm not sure how it started or where it started, but when she eats pleasurable food, she moans orgasmically. So we'll be eating lasagna at the house, kids at the table, and she just started this a few years ago, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. We'll be eating, how was school today? Great, say the prayer, and then, or like, I'm serious, or like she's eating a brownie. I'm like, that is so weird. Stop it in front of the kids. What is wrong with you? She's like, what am I doing? I'm like, I don't want to even tell you, but like, it's really uncomfortable. Stop it. She's like, it tastes so good. I'm like, babe, we got it. Stop. But she doesn't know she's doing it. So my son's birthday happens. We're at this restaurant and she's hot. My wife's super hot, right? And I say that being married a long time, she's hot, dude. And so we literally walk into this place and there's some dudes checking her out, and I'm Italian, and I was in a bad mood, and you shouldn't look at my wife more than about one time, right? So these guys look at me, and my kids know, now that I've become a public person, I've gotten better at this stuff, but like, you get to look at her once, maybe twice. You turn around with a whole table full of people, come slap the shit out of you, right? Excuse my language. So these guys are looking at her a little bit too long, and they're on the edge. They didn't know it, but they're about to get slapped. They didn't, you know what I'm talking about, guys, right? They didn't know it, but it was getting close. You do it again, I'm gonna smack you. Sure enough, we're at their table next to them. Her steak comes, takes the first bite. They're like, oh! I can't even blame them. I'm like, stop it. So she goes, what, am I doing it? I'm like, yes, you're doing it. My daughter's like, Mom, you're doing it. Sure enough, a few minutes later, she's like, I'm like, this is embarrassing as hell. I can't even go slap these guys. These dudes are literally losing their minds, right? So we leave the dinner, we get home, we're getting ready to do what married people do after a night out. She's in the bed, and I go, hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go upstairs and grab a steak. And I'm throwing this thing in his bed with us, because I've never heard you make these kind of noises before. So we're throwing this steak in the mix, right? She's like, and she literally says to me, she goes, it's just so blissful. And I'm like, that's a training, because I'm dissatisfied and you're blissful. And I'm gonna tell you something, there's a lot of validity. You need to learn to be in bliss as you're dissatisfied. That bliss will cause you want to take next bite, next haul, next finance. At that same dinner, my daughter said to me, hey Dad, my daughter's pretty, like she's like me. My son's a sweetie like his mom. My daughter goes, hey Dad, what's up with the midlife crisis? She saw the video, I go, midlife crisis? What are you talking about? She goes, come on, social media, you're growing the beard out, the tight t-shirts, you're going through a midlife crisis. And I go, you know what, you're right, I am. Here's what you don't know. I was going through a young life crisis. When Daddy was 20 years old, I was going through a crisis to get to the next level at 21. I was going through a crisis when I was 28 to be better at 29. I was in a crisis when I was 35 to be a better version of me at 36. And guess what, boo? When Daddy's 55, I'll be in another crisis before I get to 56. And that's a fact. Anybody that knows me, if you want to adopt one of my personality traits, I'm in a crisis to get to the next level.
So what do you do when you're a doctor and you can't check in your own hospital? What do you do when you're walking around acting like you can't catch the flu? You don't get tired. You don't get burnt out. You don't have mood swings. You and her don't have an argument. Your kids are perfect. You phony. That's a lie. You can't raise perfect kids. It don't happen. You don't have perfect relationships. It don't happen. My tongue, my teeth bite my tongue sometimes. They're in the same head. I mean, and there's no warning or nothing right in the middle of eating a hot dog. Just dang. Next time y'all gonna argue, would you send out a memo or something? Because y'all are supposed to be in agreement, bless God. We're supposed to be in agreement. We're supposed to touch and agree on this hot dog. And put all that to the side. That's the salad. Let me say something about something else. I'm almost finished. But here's the interesting thing. Separate and apart from everything that Elijah is going through, God is preparing Elisha to be a support to the man of God. Now, it's going on while Elisha is plowing. Elisha is plowing, the son of a wealthy family, an heir to become the heir apparent to a family that is wealthy enough to have a field to plow and at least 12 yoke of oxen. Meant that they were affluent people. This boy was being groomed to take over a major organization, and all he had to do was keep plowing. But while he's plowing behind the ox, he's frustrated because he has the sneaking, nagging feeling that there is something he's supposed to do with his life that he's not doing. And I don't care how much people pay you. I don't care if you get the corner office at the top of a corporate building. When there's something else that you're supposed to be doing, you're not happy doing it. You're only happy when you found your spot and you're in your place and you're doing your thing. That brings fulfillment and gratification. When you're doing the thing you were born to do, bless God. You don't do it for the money. The money just comes behind the purpose. Provision comes to purpose. The provision cannot be the purpose. You'll never be happy because you make a lot of money. All money does is make you more of what you were already. If you're lustful broke, you can do it better with money. That's the truth. If you're hateful broke, you get money, you can be hateful better. People scared to say anything back to you. Money just makes you bigger at what you were before.
Guess what I had to do at age 25 in order to change my own future? I had to change my mind. I had to change my thinking. I had to change my philosophy. I was messed up on what was causing my problem. And once I got that straightened out, that all the stuff I blamed, the government, taxes, the marketplace, and the economy, and things cost too much, negative relatives, cynical neighbors, once I got rid of that and started going for where the real problem was, which was me, I'm telling you, my life exploded into change. My bank account changed immediately. My income changed immediately. My whole life took on a whole new look and color immediately. And the early results I got from making these philosophical changes tasted so good, I've never stopped the process from that day. And I'm telling you, with a little consideration of the refinement of your sail, by setting a better sail, refining your philosophy, your whole life can start to change the day on. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You don't have to wait till next month. You don't have to wait till spring. You don't have to wait till 93. You can start this whole process immediately. I recommend it. Now, some people do so little thinking, they don't even have their sail up. I mean, you can imagine where they're going to wind up at the end of this week, at the end of this month, at the end of this year. Now's the chance to change, process all this information. So number one is philosophy. And we dealt with all that. Where we get ideas, personal experience, from other people's experiences. I don't want to get into all those details because we covered that the last time I was here. But philosophy, that's number one. My personal opinion. Each person's personal philosophy. Here's the definition of success and failure. Just make this note. Here's failure. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. Now you can automatically assume, Mr. Rohn, I say, I can understand that. A few errors in judgment repeated every day. For 6 years, I'm with my father. I think I told this story the last time I was here. My father, 88 years old, he's never been ill, still hasn't retired. Not long ago, midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. Drilled a new well, got some extra water, got some more acres going, he's all excited. At midnight, we're getting ready to go to bed. My father's eating what he calls his midnight snack. Little bite to eat before you go to bed. Don't have to go to bed hungry. And I'm watching him eat this midnight snack. Guess what he had? An apple, a few graham crackers, and a glass of grapefruit. I said, no wonder my father's so healthy. My mom taught us all those good health practices. Taught me when I'm growing up, right? I'm an only child. I've never been ill. Passed the big 5-0 some time ago. My 2 daughters, 32, 33, never been ill. My grandkids, never been ill. I'm telling you, the legacy lingers on. As I watched my father have this midnight snack, suddenly occurred to me. I know that's part of it. An apple, what? A day. That's gotten to Dallas-Fort Worth, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Good question for this intelligent audience. What if that's true? You say, well, Mr. Rohn, if that's true, that would be easy to do. Then what's the problem? It's easy not to do. It's easy not to adopt it as your own personal philosophy. Or the guy messed up to say. Guy says a Hershey bar a day. You say, no. You've been watching too much television. It is not Hershey bar. You gotta be smarter in philosophy than to fall for the Hershey bar a day when it's an apple a day. You gotta be smarter than that. And if you make that kind of an error in judgment every day for 6 years, I'm telling you, it'll accumulate into disaster. Sometimes the first year you say, well, I'm so healthy now, what difference is it gonna make? You gotta be smarter than that. Just because disaster doesn't fall on us at the end of the first day doesn't mean disaster isn't coming. You gotta be so smart that you look down the road and say, will the errors in my present judgment of philosophy, what's that going to cost me in 1 year, 6 years, 1 month, 6 months? I'm telling you, the money cost and the health cost and the success cost is too gigantic if you'll look down the road a little ways and say, are there errors in my current judgment like an apple versus a Hershey bar? Is that just a good illustration of some of the rest of my errors in judgment? If it is, that's where I found myself at age 25.
I was parked. I knew I could do more. But when my mama died, it took something out of me. When I went through a divorce, it took something out of me. When my best friend died, it took something out of me. I paused, and somebody said that life is like an onion. You have to peel it one layer at a time. And sometimes you cry. Life's going to happen to you when you have a dream. You're going to get slapped around. And don't take it personal. Don't ask, why did this have to happen to me? Why not you? Who would you suggest? You want to give us some names, some email addresses? And don't tell everybody. 80% don't care, and 20% glad it's you. It's called life. Suck it up and move on. Get over it. It happens to everybody. Here's the other thing is you look at your goals and look at your dreams. When you're going through some stuff, repeat out to me, please. When things go wrong, wrong, don't go with them. Yes, write that down. When things go wrong, don't go with them. When you're working on a business deal, you're counting on some money. Someone said you will get the loan and it falls through. You have an event and the people that you thought would be there and support you, they don't come through. Or someone turns against you or you get ripped off. It's going to happen to you. Happened to me. Someone stole all my products, my database, over 180,000 names and addresses. It's not personal. It's going to happen to everybody. It does. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney had 7. He filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. It's called life. But I got a saying, when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You've got the power in you to do that. You've got something special. You've got comeback power.
When I was home, I lived in a car for 3 years. I made some decisions in my life, man, and threw myself off a cliff. My decision in October 8th, 1985, I walked into a comedy club for the first time on a dare from a girl. I walked into a comedy club for the first time. Had never heard of a comedy. All my life, I wanted to be on TV. Had never heard of a comedy. October the 8th, I walked into Hilarity's Comedy Club in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. That's right outside there. I signed up for the following week because I just wanted to see what the comedians did. Man, I saw live stand-up for the first time. They had 10 acts supposed to go up. 9 of them went up. 10th guy got scared and ran out the door. So I had signed up for the following week. The guy says, listen, we lost our 10th act. We're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to the week from next week. If Steve Harvey's here, come on up now. And the crowd started clapping. I was eating a chicken wing and drinking some grapefruit juice, and I turned to the girl and I said, it's a dude in here, got the same name I got. She said, you the stupidest bastard I know. All right, I'm getting close to that. It's that time limit. I was hanging in there. Grand, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Grand. How long was I up here for? Did I get 20 in? Amen. Usually around 15, 20. So I ran up on stage. I don't even know what to do, but I just started talking about boxing, stuff that happened to me. Audience was hollering, laughing. They brought all 10 of us back up on stage. They had a clap off. I won the clap off. I won $50. I cried from Cuyahoga Falls to Cleveland. The girl kept saying, why you crying? It ain't but $50. I said, no, you don't understand. Way more than this what I do. She said, what you mean this what you do? This just your first time. You don't understand. Something happened to me. I won every night. I went to work the next day, October 9th, 1985, and quit my job.
Something to think about. Or did I completely lose you? Let me know. Are you with me on this? Yes or no? Yes? All right. So let me show you something. Now we're going to get intense. Get my book, by the way. It's called Max Out Your Life. I'm putting the screen up here, guys. You can get my book. I got another one coming next year. This one's good. It's like a booklet. It's like 100 pages. You can read it in a day. It's got all kinds of tactics and strategies. If you don't have the $9 or whatever it is, don't get it. Follow me on social media. Go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Listen to my stuff. It's good. I'm going to brag for a minute. One time. I already told you what an idiot I am. I produce the best content in the world by a mile. I'm just going to tell you. It's the most tactical, the most detailed, the most inspirational, the most real, because I'm real. I've actually built something. I've actually done something. I don't come to events to sell you stuff. Sorry, I get emotional about it because I want you to win. I want you to be better. All my stuff is free. Okay? And I got a podcast you should listen to. I got a coaching program called theartesyndicate.com. All right. So now we're going to get intense. Okay. I'm a Christian man. I want to say this first. I'm a Christian man. My children, Max was 3 years old. We're in the back of the car one day, and he said the F word. And my wife's dad was a pastor. Her brother's a pastor. I said, where in the world he had never heard me cuss. I said, where'd you learn the word? He goes, Mama says it every time somebody cuts her off, Daddy. So he learned a bad word. My son had never heard me cuss until the story I'm about to tell you. But if I don't cuss telling you the story, it won't be real. So I'm about to say some bad words. Are you all okay with that? Say yes, because it's a real deal. It really happened, okay? So I want to talk to you about winning now, okay? We got the emotional part of our life. Now we need to win. Here's the deal. You got to quit playing around. Time's running out on you. I don't care how old you are. It was yesterday, brother. I was your age. I was cool, sexy, and young. Now I'm old, beat up, and achy, okay? Let me tell you, time flies. Time flies. I'm 50 freaking years old next month. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. 50 years old next month. My son, I'm the type of dad, you can put that up on the screen. I'm the type of dad, man, because I was an athlete. I played college baseball. I played Division I college baseball. I was a good player. I wasn't a great player. I had a catastrophic injury that formed a tumor. I started to lose part of my right leg that ended my career. It probably would have ended eventually anyways, but my career ended. So when I had a son, I did not want to be that dad. Any of you have boys in sports? sports, or girls in sports, you know that dad? You know the dad I'm talking about? The crazy dad? The guy that thinks his 5'6", 240-pound son's gonna play in the NFL. You know that dude, right? You should laugh at that. That's funny as hell, right? Has no genetic chance whatsoever of ever playing professional sports, but this dude's gonna turn him into one. So when my son started playing sports, I'm just gonna be honest with you. My son is not athletically gifted. My daughter is. Bless his heart. In fact, Max was so bad when he played baseball, we for years could not figure out whether this poor kid was left or right-handed. And I'm dead serious when I tell you this. To this day, I still don't know. He eats right-handed, he writes left-handed, he can't throw or catch. You cannot play catch with a baseball with my son because he will probably get hit in the face. To this day, he's just not athletic. We put him in every sport. Football, flag football, he was the kid who blocked. You know which kids block, right? Right? You know what I'm talking about. Basketball, no bueno. He went an entire season and did not score a basket, okay? Baseball, which was my sport, I got on the best hitting coaches on the planet. We just called him a switch hitter because we had no idea. So finally he stops playing sports. I'm like, you know what? But he's a hard worker. He's watched his dad work hard. Golf. And then of course when he started playing golf, left or right-handed, I had no idea. Still probably not sure. My son started playing in tournaments. We moved out to the desert. This is a picture of us. And I was this dad. I used to tell Max, hey Max, you know Daddy loves you whether you finish first or last. You ever say that to your kids? I can't love you more if you win. My son started to take that stuff very seriously. And so we would go out, and where we lived, I moved where a bunch of professional golfers live and their son. And so the tour my son played on, your dad caddied for you. So I want you to picture, you're walking around, I'm carrying his bag 4 or 5 hours. I'd show up to the golf course, tattoos, Adidas pants on, tennis shoes, tank top. My kid's got some used set of golf clubs from Roger Dunn, ragamuffin little outfit. You can see it right there. That's not me. That's me and him playing golf right there. And then we play against these kids. Dad played on the PGA Tour. He's got this perfect outfit that identically matches his son, best golf clubs, best instructors in the world. Everybody we played with were pros. And so my son, we would play. My son's such a good boy. I always want him to be happy for everybody else. My son played on this tour. I want you to hear what I'm about to tell you. He played 32 tournaments. He finished last in 32 tournaments. Not third or fifth or 18th, last in 32 tournaments. And we had a good time. We get in the car, I said, hey, have some fun, buddy. He shot 104, winner shot 68. Yeah, fun, buddy. Hey, Dad, that was awesome. Just got to be with my daddy today. And I'm like, good, I'm glad you had fun. Every week we would do this. Walk around, finish last, finish last, finish last. Did you have fun? Don't worry about it. My son's such a good kid. He'd top his first drive into a lake. You'd hit a good drive. Nice shot, Brian. Such a good shot. Everyone loved Max. Guy makes a big putt. Max was more excited for you when you made a big putt than you were that you made a big putt. Not a competitive bone in his body. And I thought it was great. I was building his self-esteem, building his self-confidence. He's not going to play professional golf anyways. And we would go week after week after week. And I thought I was, being a good dad. And then this happened. He's warming up that day. See what he's wearing there? It's a good golf swing. He's in a good position. Max's problem wasn't his swing. Max's problem was up here. Max's problem was up here. He didn't believe in himself. He didn't want to compete. He didn't really want to get after it. And so we played 9 holes that day. 2 professional guys are in our group. And here comes the bad news. We're at the turn. There's about a 100-yard walk between the 9th and 10th hole. And on this tour, the kids get a boxed lunch at the turn. We're playing with 2 dudes. The first dad has won on the PGA Tour, and his dad won on the PGA Tour. And now we're playing with his son. There's 3 generations. The other guy's a good player, and his dad played on tour too. And one of the dads says, we're walking, having a good time. Max is 11 back, 11 out of first place after 9 holes. And we get to the turn, and you have to go get the sandwiches, but they got to go hit. And one of the dads turns and says, hey, boys, you guys go ahead up there. We'll walk up to the deal. Max is out of it. He'll go grab your lunch for you. And Max goes, yeah, I'll get it. And he starts to walk. I said, stop. I said, what the fuck did you just say to my son? Sorry, to be real with you. I said, what the fuck did you just say? I said, we don't get your lunch, dude. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to. You don't ever speak to my boy that way. I said, tell you what we're going to do. You guys go up to the tee box. I'll go get the lunch. Max, you stay right here right now. Now remember, this is I love you, son. Never heard me cuss in his life. Now he's like, Dad, right? I got a tank top on. Max is 10 years old. I said, get over here. I came down. I said, get over. We're going to fucking win today. He goes, what, Dad? I'm scared. What, Dad? What about, you love me with her? I go, that's out the window. We're going to fucking win today. No one speaks to us like that. You hear me? And I'm shaking them. But I'm also anchoring it. Big emotional state, and I'm touched. I said, we're going to fucking win today, man. Well, Dad, I don't. I said, Max, listen to me. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're changing shirts. We're putting on your winning shirt. He had another shirt in his golf bag. I changed his identity physically. I said, you throw this jersey on. I said, come here. We're going to win today. Here's what we're going to do. No practice swings. Dad, I've never done this. We didn't line up putts. I let him pick his clubs. I said, I'm going to pick every club you hit. You're going to pick every club you hit. No practice swings. You execute. You got a beautiful swing, Max. You got a better swing than all of these guys out here. You're more flexible. You can hit it longer than most of them. We're going to win. Now remember, he's 11 back with 9 holes. I said, we're going to win. It's okay, Daddy. It's okay. I said, now listen, you go up to the tee, you hit the 3-wood. Don't hit that driver, because he sprays this driver. I said, you hit that 3-wood. I'm shaking. Look at this. You think I'm kidding? You see that? I said, you hit that 3-wood. No practice. You get up there and smooth it, Max. He said, okay, Dad. And I watch him, my little boy. My heart's breaking because I've never made him compete before. And I'm watching him walk. Max walk like this. All the way to the tee box, I'm getting the sandwich. I want to beat the shit out of this dad who said my kid, right? right? I'm the nice guy. I'm the Christian guy. We're gonna have bubbles and gum when we're done here. And I watch Max from a distance walk up, grabs his three. Here's how bad Max was. You ever watch any of the know golf? My son can't even tee the ball. I'll never forget this. You know, normal players, like, they tee it up, they get behind it. Max was always like, you know, trying to get the ball to balance on the tee. That uncoordinated. Finally gets the ball to balance on the tee. He comes back, no practice swing. Whoosh, right down the pooper, right down the middle. And I see it, I'm like, we're in business. And I kind of watch Max, he kind of hits it, he kind of flips his club a little bit from a distance. I'm like, all right. I get up there, I go, give me the club, man. I said, nice shot. And I'm walking down, I said, we're gonna win today, Max. We're gonna win today, Max. We're gonna win today, Max. That was awesome, you smoked it. Your 3 wood's longer than their friggin' driver. He gets up there, I said, okay, I've never done this. Now I'm getting specific in detail. Before it was like, hey, hit a good shot. Now I'm like, look, hit this 8 iron, I want it 10 feet left of the hole. He goes, okay, Dad. I said, no practice swing. Sure enough, he gets up, hits it about 20 feet left of the hole. You got a 20-footer now for a birdie. This kid hasn't made a birdie in his life, right? We get to the green, everybody marks their ball. Normally, what's Max do? He walks up to the ball, doesn't mark it, putts, picks it up. Good putt, Ryan, nice birdie, right? So he gets up to the green, I said, hey, he gets ready to putt it. I go, you didn't even line it up. I said, take a look at the putt. He doesn't even know what he's looking at. He's like, okay, Dad, yeah, all right, I got you, okay. Walks on the other side, I can walk around it, just like a pro, walks around it. He's like, okay, Dad, God's so good, you guys. He delivers the moment when you need it. Max gets over the putt. He goes, Dad, I think it's about 2 feet left to right. I don't know either, Max. I'm telling him, yeah, that sounds good, dude. Pulls the putter back, drains it, birdie. Okay, both those guys make bogey. Now we're 9 back. This is where God comes in. Next hole, I'm like, you know what? Smash the driver, Max, right? Smash the driver, buddy. He's like, all right. I said, you got this. Bam! Smokes the driver. All 3 boys smoke the driver, except now I watch something. Max starts to walk in front of me. Now he's walking like this down fair. Totally different human being. I'm like, oh, he walks like me now. He's walking like his dad, right? We get down there, it's a par 5. He's got 225 yards in, 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. He's got 225 yards. Both these other boys lay up. I said, Max, we got to make up some ground. Smash this 3 wood on the green. He kind of looks at me. I said, hit it. No practice swing. There's a lake in front of the green. There's a block wall with rocks on it in front. Max walks up. I'm like, good shot. I'm like, Jesus, please give this boy a break. Please, Lord, please. And it comes down, hits the wall, right up in the air. And I kind of do this, and Max goes, yeah, Daddy. And I go, what? It hit the wall, went forward, and rolled to about 6 feet away from the hole. That's God. That ain't me, right? That's God. I'm like, all right. Little Ian drops one in the lake. Little Mikey drops one in the lake. We're sitting on the green with an eagle putt. I'm like, Max, knock this sucker in. Take a look at it, walk it off. Same bull crap. He doesn't look at it. He looks around, looks at it, gets up, makes an eagle. We go birdie eagle with the new shirt on. Birdie eagle, right? Now Max is like, Dad, we're going to win this thing. I'm like, we are, buddy. We're going to win. And we get all the way to 18. He's down 1. We've never even met in the tournament. We've never even talked about this crap before. He's down 1 going into 18. There's a lake in front of the green again. I said, smash the driver, Max. It's you and Ian. Ian was the other boy left. Smash the thing, man. Max is walking around like, I own this place now, right? Kind of one of these deals. I got it, Dad. I got it. Sure enough, bangs it down the middle. They're both about 8 feet away from each other. And I hear Ian's dad say, don't hit it in lake. I go, Mac, in lake. He's gonna hit it in the lake. My son's like, this language, Dad. I'm like, don't, just today, right? Right? Just today. And so, sure enough, Ian dunks it in the lake. I'm like, Max, this smoothie, put a smoothie on it, buddy. Hit this 8 iron 10 feet. We're getting the hell out of here. We're going to win this thing. And he does. He hits it about 15 feet left, except Ian comes up with the clutchest shot ever and hits his next one to about that close, taps in. So Max makes the putt, he wins. If he 2 putts, we tie and go to a playoff. Here's where I'm stupid. I go, hey, it's a quick putt. Don't hit this thing too far past the hole. We 2 putt, we go to a playoff. You don't say that. My son goes, I swear to you on my children, okay? My son goes, Dad, I'm going to make it. I go, okay, then make it. Dumps it in. Yeah! He jumps on, yeah, Dad! There's nobody there. There's no crowd. I'm picking him up, running on. The other dads are like, our kids win every week. I'm like, this is the greatest moment of my damn life. You know, yeah! And Max couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe he won, and it changed his life. Let me show you something. There he is with his medal after he won. Look at that little face. Now he's got his new shirt on, right? Right? And I know you look at that picture, you're like, he still stands like an unathletic dude. I know, but still, look at that. That changed his life. This is now me and him playing father-sons. You can look at that one. What's that say right there? Milet, somewhere on there. 64. That's a pretty good score he shot that day. And that's when he's about 14. That's me and him now, playing at Cabo. He's a little bit bigger than his dad now. By the way, he's lost 80 pounds since that picture, gotten fit. And this is him signing his college scholarship to go play golf, right? So, why do I tell you that, right? That cool? That's awesome. All right, I got chills. Why do I tell you that? Because that day, we decided to stop playing golf, and we decided to start winning at golf.
Here is a thought. Why not call good books and cassettes tapping the treasure of ideas? That's it, tapping the treasure of ideas, like you're doing with this program. And if somebody's got a good excuse for not tapping the treasure of ideas for at least 30 minutes every day, or spending the money and getting the books and cassettes, I'd like to hear it. Some excuses you wouldn't believe. I say, John, I've got this gold mine. I've got so much gold, I don't know what to do with it all. Come on over and dig. John says, I don't have a shovel. I say, well, John, get you one. He says, do you know what they want for shovels? Hey, invest the money. Get the cassettes and books. The best money you can spend is money invested in your self-education. Don't shortchange yourself when it comes to investing in your own better future. Mr. Schoaf got me started on my library when I first met him. He said to me, become self-educated. Standard education will get you standard results. Check those numbers and see if that's what you want. And if it isn't, if you want something better than standard, you must become self-educated. So I went to work on my library, and I now have one of the best. Schoaf recommended a couple of books in particular to get me started. Now, I had a Bible, that's 66 books, so that was a pretty good start, and my parents saw to it that I had a good study of the Bible. But the first book Mr. Schoaf told me to get was the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you don't already have it, it's a great one to add to your library. Earl Nightingale has put it on cassette. The title should intrigue you, Think and Grow Rich. I read it several dozen times. Schoaf said repetition is the mother of skill, and if you could have seen my bank account at the time, you would have known I needed lots of that kind of repetition. Some of the ideas in that book made major changes in my life. As I look back now, the book was worth thousands, and I bought it for pennies. I learned a very valuable lesson. There can be a great deal of difference between cost and value. Before I met Mr. Schoaf, I used to ask, how much does it cost? After I met him, however, I soon learned to ask, how much is it worth? I started basing my life on worth instead of cost, and everything changed. So that was one book he recommended, Think and Grow Rich. The next book he recommended I get was a book on nutrition. Schoaf said, study nutrition. Vitality plays an important part in doing well. Some people don't do well because they don't feel well. It's not that they're not intelligent, it's that they're ill. They don't have the fire and the vitality to do well.
If you're a leader in this room, how many consider yourself a leader in what you do for a living? Let me see your hands. I figured almost everybody. So if you're a leader, that doesn't mean other people follow you, by the way. It just means you live life on your terms. You don't settle for less than you can do or be or share or give. So that's your mindset. Then you got to say, okay, if I'm really going to be a leader in my life, then I need to own my energy, my certainty. I can't just wait till I feel good to do things. I got to be able to get myself to feel good, and not phony and not fake. So I'd like to show you as a leader, your skill as a leader, your number one skill that makes you a leader is your ability to influence. Is it true? And who do you have to influence first? That's right. If you can't influence you, you're going to influence somebody else. But your ability to influence the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the behaviors of other people. If you do that, then you will be able to engage the world and yourself. So how do we do that? Well, to influence other people, hear me now, to influence other people, you have to know what already influences them. If you try to get a kid to clean their room the way it would work for you, I promise you it probably doesn't work that way for them. Everyone's different, but there are some universals. And one thing that influences all of us is our state. If you're in a pissed off state, if you ever had a friend do something nice and you're in a pissed off state and you snap at them and you feel bad later on, it was just the state you're in. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say I. So we need to train ourselves to be in a better state. And the second thing that affects what we do long term, besides our state, that's what affects things moment to moment, is we all have a set of beliefs or expectations, or we might call it a blueprint for how life's supposed to be. When life is in alignment with our blueprint, we're happy. We're not, we're upset.
So it got to the 10th guy, and they called his name, and nobody went up. And they called his name again. They said, well, looks like number 10 isn't here. We're going to go to next week's list. Steve Harvey, come on up. I looked at that girl, Gladys. I said, it's crazy. I said, there's somebody in here got the same name I got. She said, you really can't be this stupid. She said, boy, that's you. And the audience clapped again. It was all white audience. I run up on stage, I ain't got nothing. First thing I say to the audience is, hey, I appreciate y'all clapping, but I ain't supposed to be here. I'm on next week's show. They white, they laugh. So I said, no, really, I ain't got nothing for y'all. So the girl Gladys yelled out, tell them about when you was boxing. So on the way down, I had told her this story about boxing. So I did the boxing joke. These people was in the flow laughing. So then I ain't had nothing else. So I had wrote some jokes for my buddy AJ Jamal that I hadn't sold to him yet. So I said, well, hell, let me try these. So I did them jokes. They died laughing. They brought me off stage. They brought all 10 of us up on stage. They had a clap off. That night, I won the clap off. I won amateur night, October 8th, 1985. They paid me $50. I get in the car. I'm 40 minutes from my house. Gladys is driving me home. I'm crying the entire time. I can't stop crying. She said, what you crying for? It's just $50. I said, no, you don't understand. This ain't $50. I've been born to it. This ain't $50. This God answering a prayer of mine that I've been praying for 20 years. This ain't $50. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I went to work the next day, October 8th, 1985, and quit my job. I have done nothing since October 8th, 1985, except one thing. I've been telling these here jokes. That's all I've ever done. That gift that God gave me. You know, the Bible says your gift will make room for you. It'll make room for you. See, if you're not doing your gift, you're wasting your time. Maybe when you wake up in the morning, see, but sales is a gift. That dude that keep winning team member of the year from the comfortable background.
I had the privilege several years ago, I was invited by these businessmen in South Africa to come over. Yeah. Everybody here from South Africa? I love it. I love it. Cape Town and Sydney are two of my favorite cities in all the world. But I was over there ministering for a bunch of Christian businessmen who had come into an abundance of wealth, and they wanted to submit all that they had into the hands of God, and they invited me over to talk to them both about business and about faith, and just a small group. Wasn't a big crowd of people, but it was an amazing time. And one of the benefits that they gave me for being over there is one of them had such influence. He said, when you get through working, we're going to take you on a safari. And being a hillbilly from the sticks in West Virginia, I thought that was pretty cool. And I got real excited. I had my son with me and I had my wife with me. And I'd never been on a safari before, so I went out and bought me some safari clothes. Because you got to coordinate everything. You got to be looking good when you're out there with the elephants and stuff, you know. Because they might take pictures of you or something. So I looked like I knew what I was doing. I was excited. And they said, we're going to take you over in a little plane and you're going to land on the runway and everything like that. And it's kind of out in a little remote area, but it's going to be cool. And we got on the little plane. I was cool. And my son was cool. And my wife was there. Yeah, she was there. She was there. And I was really cool with it because I pictured a runway with a tower and a control tower and everything. There was no control tower anywhere. There was a little runway, just a strip going through the jungle, no lights or nothing on it. And we had to wait before we land because there was a rhinoceros out in the middle of the runway. And all of a sudden, I knew this wasn't going to exactly be like what I had in mind when I started, but I was still cool because the little boy in me is kind of crazy and rough, and I thought, oh, this is going to be good. And my son was down with it. He's ready to go do it. And my wife was just there. They took us out to it was like a monstrosity of a mansion out in the middle of the jungle, and it was really cool. It was J. Paul Getty's house, and it was really someplace that I couldn't have gone had they not just allowed me to go. And it was wonderful. It was real plush. It was real nice. I was having a good time. So they said, don't go out the house at night, you know, because the animals are free. Now, you have to understand, in the States, we have animals, but they're in cages and stuff like that. And we're free, and the animals are in cages. And so this was an international concept that I was not exactly familiar with. I decided I was going to go anyway. So my son and I, we put on our outfits, and we got up early that morning, and we said, we're going out on the safari. And they brought this big old Jeep up, and we got on the Jeep, and I said, are you ready, Dad? He said, yeah, Dad, I'm ready. We jumped on the Jeep. My wife wasn't there. She felt led of the Lord to stay at home and pray for us. So we got on the Jeep and we're riding out there, you know, and it was interesting because the guy who was giving us the tour and going to show us all of these unique animals, I mean lions and elephants and all of this fantastic stuff, he was a zoologist, and it was amazing. It was amazing because he knew all of this stuff about the animals, how the animals' teeth were cut a certain way so that when they bit into certain branches, the branches were cut in such a way that they would be pruned and still be fruitful. It was amazing how smart our God is.